Kids, over the weekend, the very first episode of the new Ducktales show premiered on the Disney Channel. And since we're big fans of Uncle Scrooge, we ended up seeing all kinds of Easter eggs throughout the episode. So, in this episode, we're gonna check them all out. Alright, so here's Easter egg number 1. When the boys are getting ready to set sail in the beginning of the show, they mention this name.
Alright, boys! We'll get to Cape Suzette and back before anyone realizes we're gone!
Oh yeah, Cape Suzette. That's a pretty cool Easter egg. Because Cape Suzette is a town in another Disney cartoon called Tailspin, which was part of the afternoon Disney block along with the 1980s version of Ducktales. Alright, so here's Easter egg number 2. As the boys finally go to Uncle Scrooge's mansion, we see a picture hanging over the table. And this picture contains Scrooge's parents, which are first seen in the comic book series known as The Life and Times of Uncle Scrooge. Alright, so here's Easter egg number 3. All throughout Scrooge's mansion, we see these really cool paintings of Scrooge in different scenarios. What you may not realize, however, is that all these pictures are based on real-life oil paintings that were created in the 1970s and 80s by the guy that actually created the character of Uncle Scrooge, Carl Barks. The fourth Easter egg we find on Webby's board. Here we find scattered pieces of Scrooge's family tree that links all the ducks together. We have Scrooge up here, his sister over here, that is also Donald's mom, we have Donald's dad, and more. Of course, the person that first created this family tree is the exact same person that created Uncle Scrooge, Carl Barks. Also on this board, we find on this little piece of paper all the names of Clan McDuck, and way over here, we find Donald Duck's cousin from the comics, Gladstone Gander, who I hope shows up in future episodes, since he will make for some great stories, since good luck always happens to him. So what's good for the goose? A gander named Gladstone. In the same scene, we find Easter egg number 5, which is a piece of paper that says Scotty McDuck, alternate timeline. Now this is quite an obscure reference of an early story where Scrooge McDuck mentions that his father's name is Old Scotty McDuck. And of course this was done many years before Carl Barks made his family tree and said his father's name was actually Fergus McDuck. Now Easter egg 6 comes to us from another note saying friend or foul. Now this is another obscure term referring to a secret organization from another Disney cartoon called Darkwing Duck that aired in the 1990s. Since these guys were no one's friend, it makes them foul. And speaking of old cartoons, this number up here refers to the date when the original DuckTales cartoon aired on TV. While over here, we have all the Beagle Boys' names from the original cartoon, and there's also a letter from the Junior Woodchucks, which is a Boy Scout-like club that the boys belong to in the comics. Now there are a few other things on this board which I didn't understand, like this question here: what looms larger than McDuck's shadow? The only thing I could think of was the statue of Cornelius Coote from the comics, but this answer might be a bit of a stretch. Now we have one last Easter egg on this board that comes to us in a news article, Sky Pirates spotted above Plain Awful. This is a direct reference to an Uncle Scrooge story where Scrooge finds an ancient city that he dubs Plain Awful, and it's inhabited with square chickens that lay square eggs. Let's hope this iconic story gets made into an episode in the future, since it's very entertaining. For Easter egg 8, we find in the background of Webby's room, and it's here that we find Webby's doll from the original series called a Quacky Patch doll. In Scrooge's garage, we find Easter egg number 9, which is a robot head, and this comes from an episode from the original DuckTales episode entitled Robot Robbers. We also find Easter egg 10, which is a magic lamp from the DuckTales movie called Treasures of the Lost Lamp, and number 11, a skeleton of a prehistoric duck that bears a striking resemblance to a character from the old cartoon, Wubba Duck. And if you've never heard of this character, then you're not missing much, because he's very annoying. Now Easter egg 12 is this ancient Aztec coin, which everybody hide behinds. This coin originally appeared in the pilot episode of the original DuckTales cartoon. Super cool! Easter egg 13 comes to us when Scrooge bursts into this room saying,
"What in Dismal Downs is going on in here?"
And Dismal Downs is a place where Uncle Scrooge grew up in his homeland of Scotland. And it's even referenced on Webby's board. For Easter egg 14, we have the outfit given to Donald by Flintheart Glungold. And this outfit is the exact same one he's known to wear in the comics. Since Donald's traditional blue uniform was ruined at the beginning of the show, this will help to explain why he's now wearing a darker one for the series. And the last Easter egg, number 15, comes to us at the very end, where Dewey looks at the photograph and says,
Mom?
Now this is amazing to see, because up until now, Disney has specifically told all the writers of Duck comics that they are not allowed to mention anything about the nephew's mother at all. And if we look at the Duck family tree here, we find that her name is Della Duck. This is the nephew's mother and Donald Duck's sister. So this show is definitely going to reveal things that no one was ever allowed to do before. Now who knows what they have planned for her in the future, but this show is going to be amazing. Hey kids, Puppet Steve fidget spinners are here! You can also buy a Lego Puppet Steve by clicking on the link in the description below to visit the Puppet Steve store. And don't forget that Zombie Steve has his own toy unboxing channel too! Make sure to subscribe to our channel and be sure to check out all our other videos because they are